And we're live. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Dash Force News 3 Amigos podcast, your source for everything awesome that is Dash. And unfortunately, this week we are down an Amigo. Mayday. Our good old buddy Brian, regrettably, is not able to join us today, but he is here in spirit and Amigo dumb. And luckily, we work so quickly, already have him replaced. Say hi, Danny.
Hi, Danny.
Yeah, there
That's
we go.
actually
Very
Brian.
little, literal.
That,
Danny from the Crypto Show
that
is
was such a
subbing for
Brian.
Brian.
That was a Brian
You,
response as well.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
very much in the, very much into in the spirit of the whole thing. And remember, this goes to show you that crypto is world changing, but in the hive mind of the network, everyone is replaceable. Just kidding. And say hi, Mark. You've been doing a lot of great stuff too.
Hello, everyone. Great to be here. We've got so much to talk about, and
Whew, do we ever?
yeah, and both Joel and Danny have some exciting news. But I'm also excited that Danny's here because there's quite a few things that we'd like to talk about, which I'm sure you guys will be excited to learn about. So although we can't tell you everything that's going on with the Gap show, Danny's been an absolute rock star. We know he's a legendary for helping out and a great representative and ambassador for Dash in helping out in Texas recently. It's been well documented. We've done articles on Dash Force News. But with the Gap Roadshow, for those unfamiliar, if you've been living in a cave, the Great American Pilgrimage, Dash sponsorship with Max Kaiser and Stephen Baldwin, they've been traveling about filming now. It'll probably be airing on RT early November. To cut a long story short, they were traveling about, and Danny kindly offered to help out and actually flew in and drove down to be part of the show in Texas. So, Danny, could you just tell us a little bit more about your experience and how you was involved in that episode?
Well, it was pretty fun actually. The travel was a bit rough. Yeah, you actually, I guess, got a hold of somebody and got me lined out with that. My flight was kind of delayed from London. I ended up staying there an extra 3 days, and so I flew straight into Denver and then drove down. Didn't get any sleep really, and then ended up the next day in Beaumont, Texas. So one of the people with the production team of the Great American Pilgrimage is actually from Beaumont and knew some families that needed help. And so we still had funds left over from what we've been doing with the hurricane relief. So I thought it would be a great idea to dash and then tell them how they can use it and help them out. And so what we ended up giving each family was $3,000 in Dash each.
Wow.
So they were pretty happy with that. The first family, it was kind of amazing because she actually thought about her neighbors, and she asked if she could use that money to help them instead. And we're like, yeah, please do, and take videos or whatever. Let us know how that works. Hopefully, we'll be able to
Yeah.
tap the Dash community and get you some more donations, and maybe you can even help a lot more. So that was very interesting. And I was with Max and Steven for the whole day filming. We started off filming in a bar somewhere and talking about crypto and the Federal Reserve and Max being Max. It was pretty interesting stuff.
You had a massive bank on.
Then we went
Who hates banks more?
we went to yeah, we went to a market basket in Vidor, Texas, where I had actually set up before and handed out like 300 care packages to people. So, we went over there and kind of walked through what we did and the whole bit. And then from there, we went to each one of these families' homes and gave them the stuff and did a walkthrough of the house and the whole bit. It's
So
pretty cool stuff.
how had they been affected? So like the houses just been flooded, or were they lost all their possessions, or
Well, the house had been flooded, of course. The first home, I think it was about 18 inches deep in their house. The second house, it was 3.5 feet. So it was almost 4 feet deep. All their kitchen counters and everything were ruined, the whole bit. Uh, some of the dangers that with the floodwater is, people have chemicals and stuff at these rural areas. There's diesel cans or whatever floating around. So there's chemicals in the water, a lot of cattle nearby. And I guess if they stand in the water too long, their hooves become soft and they can't stand any longer and they end up drowning. So you've got dead carcasses and all kinds of stuff floating in the water. So when those types of things are in the water, when it floods the house, you have to take all of the carpet out. You got to take the sheetrock, insulation, everything's got to come out before you replace it.
Wow. Okay. And the water obviously is undrinkable because it's been compromised, right? So it really does create a massive crisis. I've
Yeah, and
never really
the first
experienced
house was
anything
pier
like
and
that,
beam.
but
The first house being pier and beam, it was not on a slab, so all of the piers throughout the middle of the house had been either knocked over or displaced. So the whole house has to either be moved and leveled, or it's an extensive job. It's not something that is
so
very easy to do.
so how did you give these families the Dash? Obviously, it's on camera, right?
So we set them up. We set them up with a Dash wallet, and I sent them $3,000 worth of Dash. And I've got a couple of connections, one in Houston and one in San Antonio, that will help them to turn the Dash into cash if that's what they want. Other than that, I told them about Bitcart.io and all the other ways that use Dash to get what they need. So.
Excellent. And guys, as well, if you've been following Twitter, you've probably seen recently that Max Kaiser and Stacey Herbert have been showing off their new Dash wallets on their phone.
Oh
And
yeah, I set those up for them.
For that directly.
Yeah, I set everybody up on the whole crew has a Dash wallet now, including Stephen Baldwin. So he has. I set him up with his Dash wallet and sent him his first Dash. So.
Excellent, great job, Danny. You're such a hero. I love it. But
I think everybody that's supporting us is the hero. I mean, I'm just enjoying being able to do this. This is incredible that this is kind of a job description that I'm able to go out and do this. I mean, who the hell wouldn't want to do this?
So how can we help these families out?
Vessel from which all the charity flows.
Yeah. So this is going on TV, right? And the two families are recorded. You setting up Dash wallets. You giving them Dash. So is there before this goes on TV? Is there anything the Dash community can do to help out with these two families so we can get that extra impact? So when it does air, how great the Dash community is.
I've held off. I've held off on connecting them with the ATM just yet, because I wanted to go ahead and put their public address up and see what we can come up with. Maybe we can make more of an impact than $3,000 by tapping the Dash community and saying, "Hey, let's show them what we can do."
Excellent. So what we can do is then, guys. So after the Three Amigos podcast, perhaps what we can do is we can tweet out on the Dash Force News Twitter, maybe the Crypto News Twitter as well, the Dash addresses of the two families. Hopefully we can try and hook up a couple photos of the families as well. Now the community kind of got the backstory of the two families. So was it the similar stories of both families? So they're both nearby, they both flooded, same situation?
Yeah. Their homes are destroyed. The second one, it was, I guess, the mother and father of a larger family. Kind of the whole family showed up.
Yeah.
So there were like 20 people there, and they were from just satellite portions of that family in their houses that they had lost as well. So everything in that area was just destroyed. Viter was in really bad shape.
Wow.
That was some of the most desperate people I've seen was actually in Viter. They were, when we went there with the towels and everything, they were very happy.
Okay. Well, look,
very happy to see us.
We're definitely 100% tweet that out with the Dash addresses. Anyone watching, whatever you can contribute, that would be fantastic. I will also get on to Max and Stacey to retweet those tweets as well, so we can really get that message out. So it just shows everyone how great the Dash community is, that we come to people's aid. We want to make a better world, right? And we want Dash to be a part of that conversation from all aspects. So by helping people, we're helping people learn about Dash as well. So this is a great opportunity to help people, but also increase awareness of Dash.
Well,
it's
a great opportunity to get outside of the vacuum or the circle jerk that is the crypto community. If we're going to grow, we need to reach outside of it, and doing things like this where you're meeting people who have no idea what cryptocurrency is, and then you're showing them that, hey, you were able to buy these products with this magic internet money. It suddenly becomes more real and usable to them when they realize that they can use it.
Especially the velocity and ease of fundraising, right? Instead of like, oh, who can do a wire transfer to my bank account? How do I get my GoFundMe and process the money? It's just like, I need money now. Within an hour or so, you got a bunch of people and you can just spend it. It's really pretty incredible.
Right. Yeah, I mean, very first night, the first night that we started this, the storm was still going, and it had struck Austin even and knocked the power out. So we weren't even on the radio. We were just doing a Facebook Live broadcast, and that's when Bill Klein of the Dash community, actually, and his first offer was actually to donate Dash, but we were busy with the show, and before we were even off air, he had sent 10 Bitcoins. So,
wow.
Yeah, that's a lot of money
with the funds that we already had, and from his money and from other donations that just happened that night, I literally had the money then, and within hours, I was already in San Antonio buying towels and food and everything that we needed to get going. So do that with a wire transfer, or with some of that magic gold that Peter Schiff has.
Well, speaking of which, and I think that's a very interesting thing, is that a lot of people got into crypto because of the technology or because some ideals or whatever, and then they sort of start farming out applications from there. I was kind of one of the people that I first cared about it from the applications inward, right? Of there's people that need better solutions, better things. I mean, I've had to receive Western Union transfers in other countries and had to go through that whole pain. But I think it's really very encouraging that Dash is exploding across some of the parts of the world that need it the most. I mean, just to like both of the articles I wrote today for Dash Force News were about just that. I mean, first off, in Venezuela, there's a massive amount of interest in Dash, and when there's a team there that's holding a series of conferences, and the first of them had double the attendees they wanted to book because so many people are looking for an exit from the Bolivar. And even the Venezuelan government now the central bank is meeting with some blockchain experts because they're seeing it as just anything that can get their country out of that situation. And they're not necessarily the most friendly government to things like that, but the situation's so bad that something like this can really change. And then all across Africa.
Initially in Venezuela, when they started the mining craze going on there, that's what they were doing with the Bitcoin they were mining, is they were buying food from Amazon. It was being shipped out of Miami, and they were picking it up in the neighboring country and smuggling it into Venezuela because there's no food on the shelves in Venezuela.
Well, I mean, even back home, even you guys in the States, like, what is the government doing to help out? Like Danny was telling me about, FEMA and stuff before we went on air, but is there really a government presence with all the stuff that's happening at the moment in Texas and that stuff, or is it just completely, there's like no help at all?
Well, in Texas, there's certainly government presence, and I did see kind of a good effort being put forth by, say, the local small town sheriff or police. The Barney Fife guy had a heart of gold and was out there trying to do stuff at all of the like FEMA centers or whatever, the shelters bureaucracy, and they were like controlling it. They didn't. It seemed like they didn't want the people to have the vision that it was helping them. They wanted to have control over everything and make everybody believe it was them taking care of them when it wasn't.
Right. Yeah. Well, speaking of conferences, as Joel mentioned, Venezuela, you guys have some news, right, about Texas?
Yes, Danny, why don't you go first?
Okay, so I'm one of the organizers with the Texas Bitcoin Conference. It's Paul and Linda Snow from Factum that actually run the conference, but I help them to find speakers and everything. And I've tried to make sure that Dash has a good spot and a good presence there. So proposal for Dash to sponsor the Texas Bitcoin Conference, which will be a silver sponsorship. The speakers that will be available, it looks here. Joe will come down and speak about Dash. We will have a Dash booth. We're working very hard on getting a Dash branded General Bytes ATM. There is talk of that. I think it will be accomplishable. Joel will have definitely a good spot. It'll be 1 p.m. on Sunday is what I've got set aside for him so far. And it will be on a media panel as well. And we're going to, step out there and really represent for Dash with this.
Yes, it's going to be good. I really look forward to doing that. I have a conference appearance in Austria about a couple of weeks later, so it's definitely good practice for that.
Right.
That's the thing is, with most of these, it's an odd situation with this because most cryptocurrencies have like a lead developer or a lead figure or just someone who represents the coin as a whole, who can just kind of go around and then that person's authorized to speak on that. And Bitcoin, they kind of had this weird thing where Bitcoin had no one authorized to speak on that, and at the same time, everyone. So it was sort of open field for people to just come out and just speak in favor of Bitcoin. Now, Dash has quite a few people authorized to speak on that, so to speak, right? Of course, there's former lead developer and founder Evan Duffield, who's done some of those things in the past, but he's not exactly the conference butterfly. And then Ryan Taylor, who's the CEO of the core team right now, tends to be a little bit more into bigger, more finance-driven conferences. And besides, he's got just so much on his plate right now. And the good thing about Dash is even someone like that does not even fully represent Dash. It's just all of us. And I mean, that's the good thing is you can just hire someone to go out and speak on Dash, or just someone like me, for example, who's been working for Dash, promoting Dash for, most of the year. Just, why not, right?
So when is this conference? Because this is a big, big conference, right? This is
October 28th and 29th this month in Austin, Texas. We've got a conference center on the north side of town, so it won't be downtown this time. We've had our experience with it in the past. The first year we had it at the F1 track, and it was kind of really spread apart. It was really ritzy and all that, but it was kind of far apart, and it was, you had to do a lot of walking to reach anything. The second year we had it with ACL Festival downtown, and that we had some outdoor issues where the booths were outside and the wind picked up and was knocking things over. So we've got something I think a little better this time as far as
this
an
is
environment for
And I know Joel's going to do an absolutely fantastic job. And this is what we're here
Hopefully.
for. We're here to step it. Joel, I know you're going to do a fantastic job. You always do great on radio interviews. And, we only had your presentation uploaded the other day from the Free Coast Festival, which I thought you did an excellent job at. And
well, thanks. And I should point out with that one that it was it was very short notice, and I had zero preparation or notes whatsoever. And so this one, I hope to actually get something together, like a PowerPoint presentation, some slides, some talking points, and then my anti-troll pepper spray in case someone comes and just get them in the face.
Well,
don't worry. This is Texas. We have 3D printed guns here.
Yeah,
Cody
well,
Wilson.
you realize I'm in New Hampshire right now, which has effectively anyone can carry a gun and shove it down their pants, and no one can care about it.
Yeah.
Brian's not here,
right?
And we're already talking about guns. He's here.
So how about guns that no one can ban, huh?
Yeah. Unbelievable. We just went there. But no, well, I would love to see, perhaps we can sort you out of like 100 Dash swag t-shirts to give away like we did in London. There's no reason why we couldn't do it there. In fact, why stop at 100? This is a big conference. And when you're getting loads of t-shirts printed up en masse, like why not get 500? If we can figure out how many people are going to attend this conference, we should be getting that message out there, because I think that worked really well in London, and everyone seems to be on their Dash swag merchandise vibe at the moment. So yeah, if
in fact, right here.
Hey, that looks familiar. Hang on, I need to click on you.
I wonder who designed that one.
Go for it again. I've clicked on you now. I'll show it again. That's one beautiful shirt. That is. That's beautiful. BEAU.
Where do I get one of those?
Yes.
Yeah. I'll send you the link, Danny. I'm rocking one as well. Oh, I'm gonna have to click on myself. I wasn't really prepared for this.
Oh.
Can you guys make that out?
All right.
Oh yeah.
Yes, there you go.
I've got my silly ghost skinner shirt.
If someone asks you why you need to use Dash, let the t-shirt do the talking. But yeah. Right. Okay. So that's the conference all set up. What else we're going to talk about? There was something
Africa
with the gap. Oh, I was going to ask you about the gap. So Danny, you were telling me about so on the Gap show, they're driving around in a bus. It's got Dash branding on, and they're trying to source some mining equipment. Is that correct, Danny?
Yeah. And I did get a hold of Yoshi. I'm waiting for a return email. He did respond, so I should find out something today or tomorrow about getting a Dash A6 miner sent to Max so that they could actually mine Dash on the RV.
This is great. So just so everyone's fully aware, and this is the message that I've always tried to relay and put through to Max and Stacey, that this isn't just about sponsorship. I want you to be not just wearing it and driving around in a Dash bus. I want you to use it because I believe in the solution. If you stop off for coffee in the morning, I want you to tip the waiter in Dash with the wallet, knowing what you're doing. If you go for lunch or you go to a diner, same thing. Spread the love. Because if we can get them using it, as we're all fully aware in the community, once you've used Dash, especially the app where it's so instantaneous, that you just can't really go back to Bitcoin after that. It doesn't compute, because why would you, with the low fees, the speed? It's just the ease of use. It just works. And you don't have to know what works behind the scene. It just works. So that's why I'm so happy that Danny kindly offered and accepted to go and meet Max and Stephen. And well, let's ask you firsthand. Are they passionate about Dash? Did they ask you questions? Like, is it just sponsorship and advertising, marketing to them? What was the kind of vibe that you got from them? I think the community will want to know this.
Yeah, I think they're into it. I think they're still learning about it, and certainly the crew had no idea. A couple of them knew what Bitcoin was, and so they were interested, and they had heard of Ethereum and so on. But when I set them up with a wallet and I hit send, and my phone was still kind of spinning, but they had already received the funds.
Yeah.
So it was like less than a second, and quick. Yeah.
And that's without instant send.
Yeah. So well, before I started opening the wallet or showing them how to open the wallet, I'm like, so picture yourself going to the bank, and you have to give up your firstborn child, a fecal sample, your social security number, and everything else.
Blood of a virgin, don't forget that.
See, right. And it didn't ask your name. It doesn't care who you are. You're just able to open up an account. Think about what that means to people in a third world country or somewhere where, Africa or wherever, where they don't have access to banking. So then they start seeing it as something different, not just we can go buy something on the Silk Road.
Absolutely. Sorry, I was just messaging Darren there. Joel, say something quick.
Something quick. Yes. So obviously, because the next talking point on my radical agenda, Africa has been really on my radar for a while with Dash, because we've had quite a lot of stuff going on. So first off, there's 5 African countries that right now have Dash teams operating in them. There's Morocco just got an Arabic language team that's going to go giving away a lot of swag, doing a bunch of 101 Dash videos in Arabic, etc. And then now we got Zimbabwe is very interesting, because the Kuva project just got crowdfunded, which is a way for Zimbabweans to be able to easily transact from cash to Dash. And I know they have a lot of currency issues related to their currency, but is also acquiring US dollars, etc. And then Nigeria has a good meetup team that's going on, giving Dash away to dozens and dozens every time. And then there's actually 3 different teams in Ghana right now, and of course South Africa. So it's spreading like wildfire, and this is a great time to segue to. Hi, Darren.
Gentlemen.
Yes.
Hello.
Is that what
Hey, how's it
T-shirt
going?
are you wearing there? That looks bright. That looks bright.
The latest swag.
It looks terrible. Go change it. Oh, never mind. It's a good one.
It's a good one because it was one of our ones. Excellent, Darren. I'm so happy.
That would be the same shirt. That's the same shirt that Baldwin was wearing.
Yes. Yep. So
man, I'm gonna take it off. So
well, guys, if you don't know who Darren is, you clearly didn't watch the Dash conference because he was the main speaker. Well, one of the main speakers for one of the big announcements for Festi from Opera Incubator. And they had the big announcement about the headline sponsorship for the Irish Pubs Global Awards ceremony. Did I get that right?
that is correct. Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was actually with Darren yesterday at the Pay Expo in London, and we had a great laugh. So Darren, I've just got to cue you in. So we've just had Danny talking about the GAP, the Great American Pilgrimage, and he set up Max, Stacy, the crew, and 2 families that were in need that had their houses flooded with Dash. And he also said on camera about Bitcart, which is also Opera Incubator. So that's great exposure. So you've got to be really happy about that, right?
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. I mean, like, if we can be of some assistance in enabling people to use the Dash that they're being given, because obviously, as you've mentioned a good few times, I mean, if you just give people Dash who are unaware of any of this, the first question is, well, what am I supposed to do with this? Like, you can give me 5,000 of it, you can give me 15,000 of it, but if I can't use it, then, it's kind of worthless to me. So, no, it's nice. I mean, they can obviously redeem their Amazon gift cards and probably get the materials that they need to rebuild what they need. That's really cool. Really cool.
Absolutely. And the other thing that we discussed, now I know you're busy on the 25th, but the 2 chaps, Danny and Joel, are going to the Bitcoin conference. It's the 3rd annual Bitcoin conference in Texas. It's a very, very big conference, and they're setting up a desk and everything else. So there may be an opportunity for Bitcart to get involved with that as well. If you're busy, maybe Graham could come along, but maybe we could.
What I said today was that I was asked to speak at an event. So I haven't yet confirmed that. This certainly sounds a lot more appealing, considering
You handle a lot of the back end for Bitcart, right?
Well, I try to.
Yes, of course. I know everything's a growth and progress, right? But so how that was, I remember there was a big update that happened a few weeks ago, and there was a lot of talk about how it was going to streamline, change everything. And how's the experience actually been after the upgrade? Has it been any smoother?
Yeah, so the update has been, I mean, it's brought its own hurdles, basically what we're trying to do is automate a lot of what we do on the back end, because man, it's a lot of man hours, and it's a lot of, checking the validity of codes. Even if our suppliers are, trusted, we still have to, ensue our own checks and balances to make sure that the products that we're giving to our customers are of the highest quality and are good to be used. So it's definitely a welcome change to begin to work towards automation of that, because obviously it frees myself and Graham up to actually further Festi, which that's not an e-commerce business. This is a real world payment processor like Visa, right? So the way we look at it is the way dollars and euro are to Visa, Dash is to Festi, you know? So we need an enormous amount of time on our hands to be able to do that. So the more automation that Bitcart can get, the better. So yeah, version 4.1, I think it is our first attempt at this automation. And yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. You know, it's kind of difficult for us to galvanize our team sometimes because we're based in so many different countries. The main development team is based in Switzerland, and those guys are busy mining and doing the rest of what they do. So yeah, it's a work in progress, you know. We're getting there.
So the automation that's happened so far, what percentage of time savings would you estimate that's done so far?
So far, it's probably helped just a little bit, to be honest. It's probably, let's say if I do 12 hours on Bitcart and Graham does 12 hours, then, you know, it's probably reducing the man hours by, let's say 2 hours, maybe something like that at the moment. So I don't know. Hopefully we'll get it down to a point where we just have to, you know, monitor things, make sure that everything's okay on the back end and let things run smoothly. Hopefully.
Yes. Now, odd question on all that. Are you looking for an additional support person? Because someone randomly solicited to do that to me the other day.
Did they?
Yes, they just said we love Bitcart. It's good. It works great, but it's lagged a lot, and I'd like to personally help and do whatever I can to make it do better. And so I'm offering my services part-time as a support person if they're interested. So that was conveyed to me. Do you? Okay. It's someone who's well known in the Dash community.
All right. Well, you can tell that person to give us an email, and we'll certainly look at that. You know, I mean, with this whole startup existence, you know, at the beginning, the founders are working insane hours to try and get everything done. You're essentially being a company, like embodying a company, which it probably should be 10, 15 support people. We just can't afford to do that right now. But we're certainly looking at expanding that. We're actually having a meeting tomorrow with somebody locally who offered their services in that regard. So yeah, it's good to know that there's people eager to work with us, you know?
Yes. Yeah. Well, I'm sure anyone here can attest. It's the probably the single largest feather in Dash's commercial cap of just it's the one word answer of like, well, what can you do with Dash? Bitcart. It's like the right away thing. And then I know that, for example, in New Hampshire where I live, I could be able to fuel my vehicles based with gift cards bought off of Amazon. So
yeah, like you're pretty much, as far as I can tell from watching different Dashforce news shows, yeah, I feel you're pretty self-sufficient now regarding crypto. Like you don't even own a bank account or anything like that. So
nope, no bank. Not for over a year now.
I mean, I'm sure Bitcart is probably instrumental in making that happen. So that's good.
Yes, it certainly makes it a lot easier. I mean, it makes
no
bank
to
where just
no
bank.
Are you kidding? How will the government seize your money?
You have to be the change you want to see in the world.
Right? How will the government seize your money if you don't have a bank?
They'll have to catch me on the street, turn me upside down, and shake the bitcoins out of my pockets.
That's actually quite good.
They make a really weird noise when they hit the ground.
Because one thing I think the community might be surprised to learn is actually about South Korea. So if you watched the Three Amigos last week, I was talking about when we were streaming the Dash conference that 51% of the 24-hour volume of Dash was coming from South Korea, from the main exchange there, BitHum. I was calling it BitFum, but Darren kindly corrected me yesterday, BitHum.
Well,
that's why I got to.
I corrected you, but then Graham corrected me. So I believe it's BitThumb.
BitFum. Okay.
BitFum. Yes.
Okay,
both thumbs.
You actually have a percentage of Bitcart business from South Korea, right? And I think a lot of people might be surprised by that.
Yes, that's correct. In fact, when we first started out, Well, this was actually before my introduction to the BitCart team. This was when Graham was just flying solo. But the first two major buyers, the first two major clients, were both South Koreans, actually.
Wow.
Yeah. So I mean, it is for me, and I think it's pretty much glaringly obvious, actually, that South Korea, as far as Asia goes, is certainly becoming the hub of crypto. I mean, BitThumb, if I'm saying that correctly, they turn over something like $1 billion a day, which that equates to something like 557,000 Bitcoin, compared with Kraken. That absolutely annihilates Kraken. So yeah, it was just amazing for Dash to have assisted us in getting Graham out to Seoul to start to, I suppose, hack into that market, you know.
Yes, definitely exciting times, and that's actually something that we can announce on Dash Force News as well, that we've just recruited a new Korean translator. And also in the chat, I see Damien is about, and I'd like to give a quick shout out to him to say thank you. I've been trialing a new translation system, and he has been my guinea pig, and things are so good. We're also trying to automate the process, like BitCart, with the translation, where I was doing things manually, but it's looking good so far. So hopefully this is going to step things up and make things a lot better. But it just shows you how instrumental South Korea is right now. I'd love to get some more action in Japan as well. Actually, the two guests that we have, both Danny and Darren, I really have a lot of time for them. And I think they're great ambassadors for Dash because they believe in the solution. But quite often we end up talking about POS because we understand the business adoption. It's not always about the advertising aspect. It's actually providing a service, a utility for the money, because that's what's going to help increase adoption. And these two guys really get it. And the fact that BitCart launched without any funding first is just shows you their commitment and their dedication and their belief in Dash. I mean, they don't accept any other cryptocurrency, right? And
That's correct.
PR thought you were crazy when you said you was going to drop Bitcoin for Dash, right?
Yes, there was accusations that our mental health was questionable, but no, it was when we had a little conversation with Waxman PR when we first kind of opened that whole can of worms up. It was completely out of necessity, you know. I mean, this is a business that we're running, and if our transactions are taking, you know, an hour in length and costing us ridiculous amounts of money, then we're going to drop that payment processor. I mean, if it doesn't serve our purposes, then we're going to do that. So it was a no-brainer to drop Bitcoin, and yeah, just working with Dash exclusively seems to be streamlining a lot of the process, you know.
I mean, that's a very revolutionary statement in the crypto world, that it just seems like good common sense to someone in business of, well, this just isn't working for us. It's too slow. It's too expensive. We're going to use something that works. That's a very normal business owner decision to make. It happens all the time, all across the world, thousands of times a day, I'm sure. But in the crypto community, it's like, what? You're dropping Bitcoin? Well, how could you do that? It's like the sacred one. You cannot, you have to have Bitcoin and then your preferred coin at most, but you have to stick with that. And then to be, I've heard of a lot of denial of service attacks, DDoS attacks against BitCart. And I, you know, obviously no evidence, just a hunch that might have had something to do with deciding to, you know, to dismiss your Lord and Savior Bitcoin Christ and just go to something that works without kind of towing the line of, well, what are you supposed to do?
We were brandished as heretics and sent into the middle of the arena to be hung by the Bitcoin fanatics. Now, obviously, everyone in the crypto community owes a lot to Bitcoin, and we all love Bitcoin and what it did. It opened a lot of doors. And personally, I feel like that's all it was supposed to do, was to show possibility and pave the way for other cryptocurrencies to come along and perform different functions. So obviously Ethereum performs certain functions. Dash for us is just the best everyday payment processor. So yeah, I mean, you're right. There is no evidence to that we can draw upon, no empirical evidence that we can draw upon that says, you know, we're sure that these DDoS attacks were related to that. But certainly the timing was coincidental. Yeah.
Yes. Let me throw an alternative theory because I'm a big conspiracy theory nut, apparently. So I used to write for Cointelegraph, and then before Dash Force News, there was a Dash-related crypto publication called the Dash Times, and I wrote for them as well. And for both of those prior publications, I wrote some kind of an article, one for each, regarding Monero and regarding some unpleasant truths that had surfaced at the time. I don't remember what both of them were, but one of them was one of their darknet markets just disappeared in an apparent exit scam. And both times, within like minutes of the publication of the article, both sites got DDoSed instantly, right? And so I do know that there are certain elements within that community that have been very adversarial with Dash for the last 3 years. And obviously, like dumping Bitcoin, going all Dash almost sounds like a Dash PR manufactured headline, right? It doesn't sound, I mean, at the time it happened, it didn't sound that real world to a lot of other people in the crypto community. And so that's another possible theory, is like, what if it was some of the jealous haters for another coin just trying to take it down? But either way, I'm glad you guys are still sturdy and still upright and still just doing business. And that's the sort of thing, is there's all this emotion and all this fanboydom, for lack of a better term. There's all these stuff other than what works floating around in the crypto universe, and then people throw these highly emotional decisions behind what they do. And it's supposed to be technology, and it's supposed to work, and if it works, use it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't. If someone makes a different decision, you shouldn't care. But there's so much emotion, and that's always been very strange to me.
Precisely, Joel. And like, to be honest with you, like when we're trying to convince merchants to use crypto or use, let's say, Festi for payments, you know, fanboydom is not going to get us anywhere. Like if we walk into the room with the bright-eyed and bushy-tailed exterior of a new convert to a religion, it's not really going to work. But if we come in and speak about the bottom line, where we say, you know, this is a payment processor that is as fast as what you use, but just, you know, you can save enormous amounts of money at lower transaction fees. There's all these other additional benefits as well. That's what resonates with real merchants, you know. So yeah, I'm certainly aware, just like you are, of the kind of like unwavering belief and faith that a lot of these crypto nuts have in certain coins. But for me, like, I have the job of sitting down with real merchants, trying to convince them of this stuff, and I know what works in order to do that. And it's speaking about bottom line stuff, you know.
Yes, it's very interesting to see the way different people try to market different coins to different vendors. And the CEO of Wall Coins, which also is integrated Dash, pointed out to me the other day, or not the other day, a few months back, that Dash stands as the only payment processor, the only payment system today that offers instant and permanent settlement, right? Because you got like a credit card or something, it goes through instantly, but it isn't settled and permanent instantly. And so that's like merchant talk. That's talk on the real world. Yeah, and it's interesting to see. Yeah, it's interesting to see how this weird thing going on in the crypto universe, where you have a lot of the largest businesses that came on board because they were Bitcoin fans, for example, Bitcoin fans first, and then they decided to find a business application. And after Bitcoin's gone through a long time of not being a viable, workable model for their business anymore, they still cling to this Bitcoin only thing because their Bitcoin fan side has sort of eclipsed their business sense side. And I think it's interesting to see that happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I think also, if I could just make one last point on that, Mark. Also, I think, you know, a lot of these.
Sure. Oh, you still got the wristband. Awesome.
Yes,
good job.
Yes, I do. It's just because I haven't showered yet. But yeah, I think, you know, these businesses that you're referring to, Joe, like, I'm getting a lot of feedback here.
Is that you, Danny?
Playing a video. You on Pornhub? What's going on?
Busted.
The way the Vaseline
went off.
Oh, there we go.
All right, we're good. We're good. Go ahead, Darren.
Yeah, no, but I think they probably spend so much time trying to figure out Bitcoin and trying to understand it that, you know, they're like, okay, this thing, I get it now. It took me a long time. I'm going to put it on my website. I'm going to endorse it. Any other cryptocurrency that, you know, comes in their face, like, oh, look, I don't want to go to the trouble of figuring out another one of these crazy cryptocurrencies.
Okay, let's get Danny back into the mix because business
hold on,
adoption.
one last thing before then, because there's an actual question regarding that in the live chat. Raimundas says, what made you choose Dash rather than, say, Litecoin for your business?
For Bitcart, I can't really answer that question. That would be more Graham's seat and responsibility to answer that question. But like for Festi, for example, first of all, Daniel Diaz, when he was around, he was absolutely incredible at just, you know, reaching out. Like the outreach capabilities that the guy had was just incredible. So he got in touch with us. Fernando got in touch with us. They were aware of what we were doing, and they wanted to integrate with us. They wanted to work with us. So, you know, when you're contacted by members of a core team who want to work with you, like, that's great. Like, you know, it was a show of belief, of commitment. They came here to Cork. Like, I mean, Fernando, at the drop of a hat, he was here, you know. So that was probably the first thing.
What you're saying from what I hear is that Charlie Lee didn't come and email you and hang out with you, and neither did Ricardo Spagni or Vitalik Buterin. They didn't come and talk to you and hang out with you. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Well, you see, business is done by people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Human to human. So if you don't resonate with somebody else, and if you don't, well, for me, like, if I can't hang with somebody, then, like, I probably shouldn't be doing business with them.
Of course.
So yeah, I mean, the guys were just really great. Like, we started to look into Dash. We liked the sort of image of Dash. You know, like, it's very clean. I think it was only after the fact that I had learned about, you know, like X11 and Darkcoin and all of this whole history with Dash. The Dash I've known it just makes a lot of sense. Digital cash. It's a very easy thing to communicate. It doesn't have the word coin in it, which
by the way, thank you for pointing that out, because there's a lot of people that still call it Dash Coin, which there is a coin called Dash Coin, and it's pure rubbish. It's not Dash. So sorry, carry on.
Right. It gets back to the responsibility or situation that I end up being in, which is liaising with a lot of merchants who, you know, they don't know what crypto is, they don't know what blockchain is. So at least, like, if they're familiar with the idea of cash, then digital cash is a really easy vocabulary to start to convince them of. If I came in speaking about Litecoin and different coins, you're only going to confuse them, you know. So yeah, that's probably one of the reasons. Is it's a really familiar kind of vocabulary, you know.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, interesting.
let's get Danny back into the mix. So
Hi, Danny.
business adoption is key, and all of us here are big advocates of that, and we push for that. We're all for that movement pushing forward. But accessibility is also key and instrumental in terms of user adoption. And Danny, I believe you have something going on with Dash ATMs. You mentioned
Yeah,
before, right?
We're looking at getting. We want to get at least 2 of them down here. Talking with CoinGun about getting some sent down, and we want to put one in San Antonio, one in Austin. And when I go down to Mexico to start helping out with the earthquake relief, because we still have funds left that have been donated, I want to start building a kind of a bridge between Mexico and Texas. How to send money to their family, because that's one of the biggest businesses in Mexico is actually remittance. It's multi-billion-dollar a year business, and in fact that's how Trump planned on paying for a wall, was by extra taxes on Western Union. Which, hey, if he wants to build the wall, that'd be great for digital currencies, of course, because I'm afraid that they go through walls and not, or over, however you want to talk about it, but. So anyway, like I said, I want to get that going. One of the people that I'm going to be working with in Mexico, actually, while I'm down there, is Bitso, the Mexican Bitcoin exchange, and I am all up in their shit about getting Dash onto the Mexican Bitcoin exchange. So I'll make sure that gets done.
I've heard rumors regarding that. Fun fact: I grew up south of the border in Mexico. I lived there for about 16 years, 12 to 16 years, I forget. And my first article ever for Cointelegraph, which is how I got started professionally in crypto, was about the Bitso folks. So I've never met them, and I see they look like they're going to be at the conference. Is that correct?
Yeah, Jose and I are really good friends.
Nice.
Every time when I go down to Mexico, I cash out my Bitcoin, Dash, whatever, with him at the Anarchapulco conference, so that I don't have to pay the exchange rate. So that's how I get my pesos when I'm in Mexico, is through Bitso.
That's very good.
Yeah, he's definitely
great to finally meet them.
Yeah.
He's. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Danny. Finish up.
Oh, this is kind of something that I've always wanted to do. My main business actually is I'm a roofing contractor. So I've been working with Mexicans on the Texas side of the border for, almost 30 years now. And I've always been, since I've known about Bitcoin, I've always been telling, hey, man, you guys need to stop messing with Western Union and send it back like this. And so now I think if we can just set up the system where we have ATMs and something physical for them to actually do, and the WireX card, I actually have a WireX card myself, and I had it sent to Mexico to get it.
Look at this.
There you go.
Guess what this is, right? Huh?
Yeah. So,
is that a WireX card?
Yeah.
Yes, covering the pin and all that stuff right now.
Right,
But I don't have anything on this card. It's going to be useless in about a week anyway, because they're changing from Newcrest. But anyway.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's going to be, that'll be a great tool to get people involved in Mexico. If you're sending money to your family from this side, buy some Dash, send it directly to their WireX account, and they can start spending it. So
yeah, what's that reminds me of the cross-border power of all this sort of cryptocurrency. I used to live in Phoenix, and my best friend and roommate for a while, he ended up being, unfortunately, deported to Mexico. And after that, he ended up in some nasty business, being framed by a drug cartel and fleeing for his life all the way to the very southern state in Chiapas. And he was trying to get out. And so just about a couple weeks ago, I bought him a plane ticket out of there with Bitcoin, right? Because obviously it's just hard to get people money. He couldn't afford the ticket to get out of there. And so, I just said, send me a screenshot of the invoice page. And I just, there we go. Paid in Bitcoin. Got, I wish that there was a site that took Dash directly, or it would have been even easier for me, but it's still it's just like there are none of these artificial barriers anymore. It's just, we can live as a global world and actually help each other the moment they need it.
A borderless digital currency? What kind of madness is this? Anyway, Darren, did you have something you wanted to say about cards?
Well, I was just going to make a simple remark there about the fact that the,
Remark.
the card you have is identical to the Spectral card, isn't it? It's like pretty much the exact same thing.
Yes, there's a lot of the Wave Crest cards that look exactly the same, right? And unfortunately, Wave Crest.
They all have the same scar on their face as well. That big Visa sign on it.
Yeah, regrettably.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the Festi card, Festi contactless crypto card,
Nice.
doesn't have that scar on its face. If you can just see that right there. I'll send you.
Is it a swipey at all, or is it purely contactless?
Well, this is probably a good way for you to
Purely
explain.
contactless. There are some reasons why we don't want that swipey thing.
Mostly it's medieval.
yeah,
that might be part of it.
That's one part for sure. No, there's a lot of fraud related to that functionality that seems to manifest itself cross borders and things. So yeah, this is as secure as we can make it. So
people probably
So
aren't familiar
what
with
is
that.
it? Is it a? You have an NFC card or what?
yeah, correct. Yeah, correct.
So break it down. So because people,
Yeah, there's another
the wristbands, right? But now everyone's talking about the Irish pubs that we're going to be integrating with for you guys, right?
Yeah.
And these cards are going to play an instrumental role in that. Can you break down how this is going to work, or can you tell us a bit more? Or is it all hush hush?
It's not all hush hush. I mean, in order to make this product viable and make it something that can be used, that we just have to be able to integrate into already pre-existing POS systems. So I mean that's why we use NFC, because any card terminal in any of these pubs or any other retailers, they have devices already that accept NFC. The difficulty for us, I suppose, is how you get them to accept this whole crypto thing, and what are they going to do with this crypto, because the main retort that we get actually from merchants when trying to convince them of this is like, what am I supposed to do with this crypto, like at the end of the day? Because I certainly can't use it to supply my inventory, like it presents some cash flow issues. So we've developed some ideas. Well, they're not just ideas. I mean, they're full on like scalable models where these merchants are able to come from crypto back into their local currency at the end of a day, or even during a day's trading. So
yes, I mean that's the real important part, of course, for especially. I noticed so Portsmouth, New Hampshire is an interesting place. It's right near where I live. And there's a couple friends of mine run the Free State Bitcoin shop where they accept no fiat currency at all. And they sell things like Dash t-shirts. They have a Dash ATM. They sell like stick bumper stickers, t-shirts, hardware wallets, all those kinds of fun things. But they've managed to get a lot of the surrounding businesses to take Dash. And directly, no payment process or no anything, just like, here, get a wallet and you can do it. But there are always things like, for example, a luxury sunglass shop or something like that, or they're always kind of more high end, or a theater and their concession stand and stuff like that. There's always more high end type things that they can afford to just like hang out with some currency that they don't need to use right now. And then there's a coffee shop right down the street that I really like to go to, and that's kind of a hard sell for them, because I remember when they increased their prices by like 5 cents, literally 5 cents per item, because that makes a huge difference in whether or not they're able to stay in business. And they can't have any money just lying around, just like, oh, this is nice, it's going to go up in value. And so that's really important. But here's the fun thing. The first sale, right? The first sale is cheap, right? You take Dash, it gets converted. It's like 1% total or something. You're paying 2.5% or 3% or whatever. to do a card swipe or more. I mean, depends on which processor you use,
so
right?
it's a 3%.
And so that's like the first. Yeah, that's the first thing to get them in the door, and then they're like, "Well, I can't spend this. I'm not going to keep it direct for anything. I can't spend it." And then you say, "Well, guess what? What if you get one of your employees to take it for payroll, right? Now that amount of money, you don't have to pay the 1% to convert. It's just free, just no transaction cost. And I don't know if your payroll company charges something or however you pay or issue the check to pay the employee. Now you get to save on that too. And then before you know it, they're going to say, hey, you heard of this Dash thing? Hey, why don't do you want to take it for payment this week? And then it snowballs from there.
Yeah, right. But the issue with that though is that, like, first of all, it takes quite a let's say advanced or awake employee to accept Dash as his his pay at the end of the month in the first place. Secondly, if he's looking for a loan or any kind of credit, it's not like he can walk down to the bank and show him his Dash wallet, and say, hey, look, I've been paid regularly. I've been keeping on my job for 2 years. Here's my Dash transactions. They're not exactly going to give him credit based on that. So yeah, there's so many layers to this. The thing is for these merchants, like you might think, oh, it's like totally easy, let's just convince them to take a payment processor that gives them less fees than Visa. But like, there's so many variants to running a business. Like, as you said, payroll, cash flow, et cetera. These kind of things, that's where the real selling and where the real, I suppose, the real planning and the real model takes place,
Yes, and I noticed there's some people who have been, in fact, the fellow who runs this Free State Bitcoin shop is a Masternode owner, at least one. I mean, I know it was like, since it was like the $7 Dash days, right? But he bandied around the idea of starting a proposal where you actually pay merchants to accept Dash. You just say, hey, if you integrate some payment processor, you take Dash, you get like the first $1,000 in sales you do in Dash will match. We'll just give you another $1,000 worth of Dash, and then that's like a lot of free money, right? That's a lot of stuff to just make it a lot to smooth the transition. Now you got them talking, but of course, one of the more difficult things is actually getting to talk to the business owner in some of these more high energy type places. I mean, I've done that myself many times in the old days, trying to get folks. There was one coffee shop around the corner that was had the Revel payment processor, which I don't know if it still does, but it did take Bitcoin payments. You just had to enable an option. And I just tried to talk to that owner for months. I was almost stalking him, and he just never wanted to talk. He was just too busy.
I feel you.
Yes, in his particular case, he was a little bit. He had an office with one-way glass, just looking out at people, and then he would come out once in a while and put on a different vinyl record for the coffee shop and just not talk to me, even though he knew I was waiting to try to talk to him. But I mean, even the people that aren't that kind of a person end up being. It's hard to just reach the person and then you just say, "Hey, I got a great offer for your business." You just like, "Shut up, let me get back to work."
Yeah, exactly. So I suppose this is one of the reasons why we chose to approach Irish Pubs Global, because of the fact that it's not just one merchant that you're trying to corner in some crafty way. It's in fact, it's kind of like, I guess, going to the head of the snake kind of thing.
Yes.
Where, you immediately have access on a platform to speak to, 7,000 pub owners.
Yes, that sounds very. I mean, I wrote the article about that.
I saw that
because
really
it's
cool.
very, very interesting to me. It's very. And I like to. I mean, obviously, you have much more expertise to say on this matter. My expertise is not through a business owner in the alcohol business, but from a consumer of alcohol. And I know that plenty of times you have people. There's been a few different times when
water,
not as many as other people maybe, but a couple different times where I've left my card at the play at the pub and had to come back the next day to retrieve it. I mean, that's happened before. And how easy would it be to just have a little festy band? You're just like, another round there, beep, and then there you go. You're done. Like
that was a
that
great
can be
accent. Could you do that one more time?
Is that your Irish accent, Joel?
Yeah, another fucking round, beep.
No, whatever.
You do what you want, but
So,
you just
It's
like
amazing.
revolutionize.
Every time I hear an American representation of an Irish accent, you sound Scottish. It's
Scottish, yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Well,
like-
I am an 8th Scottish, so Clan McGregor. Anyway, but
Yeah, mine's
simple
coffee and orange
taking
liqueur, so I
balance.
guess we're all down.
Well, yeah, Joel, what are
Very
you drinking? That looks funky.
It's called a Manhattan. It's whiskey, vermouth, cherry bitters, and a cherry.
Wow, very sophisticated.
Do you wash that down with a pumpkin skinny latte?
Actually, in a
Mine's
couple
just
minutes, maybe I'll
coffee
do
and
that.
orange liqueur is where I'm at.
Yeah, I've done that before too. In fact, a couple of places in Phoenix have orange-based coffee drinks. One place had an orange latte, and the other place had they call a sunrise, which is a shot of espresso over a small cup of orange juice, just straight up. Like, wake up, guys! Right?
It sounds like it would be effective, extremely effective.
Yes. Very
Right.
citrusy.
In the chat, this is your last chance to ask questions for our two special guests. So if you have any questions, chuck them in now. Otherwise, remain quiet.
Yes.
Yeah, Danny, is there anything else that you'd like to add? So we've gone through the conference, we've gone through the Great American Pilgrimage. Have you got anything else coming up with Unsung, or is there anything?
Well, yeah, as we go forward.
What's going on with the crypto show? You haven't plugged that. You need to plug that. It's a great show.
Oh, yeah, it's thecryptoshow.com/listen live. You can listen to us live on the internet 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern every Wednesday and Sunday night. I generally have that out on Let's Talk Bitcoin within an hour or so after the show. Sometimes when I'm traveling, it takes a little bit more. But
So
part of what we're doing, I guess coming up is we're finishing up on our proposal. We want to keep going forward and doing what we're doing. What we've been calling Unsung so far is the whole idea is that, Jason King has Unsung, and we worked with him getting that going here in Austin with the Arcade City drivers. And that's all a great idea, and it's a great place to send people to get an idea of what Unsung is. You go to unsung.org and you kind of get the idea. But we've been doing this for a year, and it's Dash that's supporting this. So I think I'd kind of like to keep doing the same thing, but change it to Dash Cares is kind of the idea I have. Because apparently
this is big, Danny.
Dash does.
So are you open to ideas? So people, if you've got ideas for names, it's on Twitter, it's at the Crypto Show. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So send Danny some ideas. It's a great idea.
Right. So we want to continue that, and of course advertising for Dash, and we want to start building this bridge between Mexico and Texas, and really start trying to make remittance part of what Dash is getting done. And I think we can get it done if we're down there and being visible in the earthquake zone, that we're the people there helping someone out. Like I said before, it kind of creates the image that yes, Dash has value, and if something has value, people are going to want to use it.
Excellent. And Darren, do you have any upcoming Festi events or anything of particular interest? Because the Irish Global Awards is coming up soon as well, right? So what's on your calendar?
Let me cap your question, Mark. When can I get a Festi and use it anywhere?
When can you get a Festi and use it anywhere?
Well, not everywhere, but where can I use it somewhere? When can I use it somewhere?
Well, it's actually, I'm glad you asked that question, because I was going to conclude by saying that one of the things that we get access to as part of our headline sponsorship with Irish Pubs Global is their entire customer database. So every single Irish pub on their network we have access to, so we can pinpoint where we want to integrate first or second or third or wherever. So we were thinking what could be the best way forward is to obviously take care of our own local community first, which we've already begun doing. But then the Dash community members that we know of, like you guys, we can just select pubs that are on the Irish Pubs Global Network in your area, and just do our first integrations there. So Portsmouth, New Hampshire, we're coming for you, bro.
Yeah. Well, guess
We
what?
have a good one
Manchester,
here. We have one here in Austin called Fado's, if you can get a hold of them.
Fado's?
Well,
Yes.
let me put it this way. I can get you a hold of Murphy's Tap Room in Manchester. They've already taken Bitcoin for well over a year, and they're the largest Irish pub in the state. So very natural segue. As soon as they have BitPay, though, so as soon as you get a payment processor that works for them, there you go.
This is the great thing.
That's got to be better than Coinbase. I've still not. I still haven't even gotten a response from those pricks after over a month. I sold them a Bitcoin over 1 month ago and written multiple, requests. Hey, what's going on? Not one single response yet, and I've written them at least 30 times.
Two of my friends work for Coinbase support, so I'm going to have to say you got to buy me a drink or get Danny his money. And I'm guessing I'm just going to get drunk because I don't think they're getting your money anytime soon. Hey, maybe I'm just being pessimistic.
Coinbase has had issues for a long time because it's been very vocal in the news because the user base has expanded so much they can't actually handle it on the back end. So there was at one stage they're saying again 1 million users per month sign up. Obviously, we always get asked about Dash being integrated into Coinbase. I spoke about that last week on the Free Amigos. I spoke to Karen.
I like that response, Danny.
What was that? I missed it.
I said, screw that.
All right, just screw them completely.
No, I got to give it to Shift. At least it works on the Shift end. You can put money in Coinbase and kind of be pretty confident that you can use your Shift card and not have any issues.
Well, this is the great thing about
buying or selling on Coinbase. Forget it. I wouldn't jeopardize your coin there.
Well, I mean, all these crypto cards are great, but I see them as a transitional thing. They're an intermediary because all this Visa and MasterCard is still dependent. They're payment processors that are dependent on the legacy banking system. Now, they're kind of a necessity right now while we're in this transition phase. But I would hope the end game would be eventually to have a solution like Festi. So don't just pigeonhole Festi as for concerts, pubs, and everything else. I would like to see this really scale and go really great. That's why business adoption is so key. And
that's what we're looking for, Mark. I mean, that's our vision. But we have to remain humble and realistic. Nobody's going to get to the moon straight away. You have to build a spaceship first, man. You got to get your materials together. You just got to take it in stages.
And that's the great thing about the proposal that you guys got as well, because as headline sponsors for the Irish Global Pubs Awards, I probably got the words the wrong way around there, but you've actually got an exclusive contract
show of the world.
Yeah, so basically, I mentioned it in the weekly recap, but basically you're contracted, is it for 12 months, 24 months, where you have access, and it's their duty to try and push you onto and network you with these pubs globally around the world.
Right. So the last company that got this headline sponsorship last year, they're a North American gas and oil company, and basically Irish Pubs Global were contracted, as you say, to assist this company in being the energy provider for all of these pubs. So that's where we're now at, which is great. I mean, actually, probably the best thing in the last week was seeing the Festi logo and branding above Magner's Irish Cider on their. I
love Magner's.
that was pretty cool. To just be on top of them was cool. That was great.
Excellent. Yeah, and as I said on the weekly recap, and I think you mentioned in the proposal, if you can just capture 1% That's 70 pubs, and that's not including the 30 pubs in Cork City where Opera Incubator is based by the end of 2017. So
Yeah,
that sounds great, right? So you guys are making moves, and that's the thing. Once you start utilizing it and people start seeing it, hopefully that creates that snowball event. And I'm sure if it takes off, other pub chains and franchises, which we have a lot in the United Kingdom, are probably going to turn around. There's already the crypto bubble fever, and they might say, right, we need to jump on this bandwagon. I would love to see crypto ATM. If I owned a pub chain or even like a restaurant food chain, I would put crypto ATMs in every single place because you already have the Wi-Fi and the infrastructure there. Why would you not do it? So like, why aren't these people doing it? Like, and it benefits them. They make money as well off their ATMs. Like,
absolutely,
so simple.
Absolutely. Yeah, well, this is firmly a part of our business model that, you know, for every integration, probably makes sense to put an ATM in there. So yeah, we're certainly looking at that. And those franchises that you were referring to in the UK and in other places, we've already been getting requests for integrations from.
I'm going to get you Weatherspoons. As soon as the thing's done, I'm going to sit you down with the guy. We're going to make that happen because I don't even know how many Weatherspoons there are, but it's probably a phenomenal amount.
There's one in Cork, but it's actually largely boycotted because it's English, you know. So
yeah. Do not speak of that. Well, let me give you something extremely vague, but perfect for an ending note and on a high note. There may or may not be a way in the near future, depending on what happens on things, that people might be able to start receiving part or all of their salary in Dash. And there may or may not be a method for which people might be able to use Dash at most major large retailers all across the United States, possibly beyond, in Dash and get a discount. May or may not. Very unconfirmed. No more details. Probably said too much anyway. But the world's going crazy. It's going to be very soon when you don't have to live in a little crypto bubble in New Hampshire like I do in order to close your bank account, right? Pretty soon it'll be just anyone can just any all across the world. What was that?
Or Cork City. They've got their own ecosystem going on there. I'm telling you, it's going to be.
That's a great.
We've got our what?
At the Nexus conference in Aspen, I went to that, and Roger Ver had a really cool statement. He said, you know, cryptocurrency is to bank the unbanked, and we would also like to unbank the banked. So
that's well worked for me.
Thank you, Bitcoin Jesus.
Yeah.
Praise be upon him. Amen.
Before we end, I actually sent you guys a video in the Hangouts link there that I'm sure you'll find amusing. This was me going toe-to-toe with a representative of Tola Mobile at the Pay Expo. There was this thing called Payments Punch-Up, so you actually entered a boxing ring and wielded boxing gloves. I felt very Conor McGregor for a second, especially with my haircut. But basically, you had a motion to debate. I was representing crypto. He was representing old paradigm bullshit. And yeah, we went to town, and it was cool. Graham got a little video of me right beforehand. So if you choose to watch that, that'll be pretty cool.
Where did you share that?
Did you knock him out?
It's actually in the Hangouts chat.
Is this like the live chat?
Yeah.
Okie dokie.
Right. No, like it's actually in the Hangouts ongoing call that we're in right now.
Oh, okay.
Is it? I'm not seeing it actually.
Yeah, because I would love to share that out on my Twitter and stuff as well, because I saw you guys at the event yesterday. I was with you, and I think like you guys do a stellar job. So I'd love to get this out and syndicate it to the whole Dash community.
Oh, you have to see that, man. It's pretty funny.
So is this your own personal video uploaded, or is this like publicly available on YouTube or?
I believe Graham's going to upload it to YouTube. All right. But yeah, I can send it to you on WhatsApp right now, Mark.
Or I tell you what, while we've got you here and we've got our editor-in-chief, Joel, Why don't we set up an article on the Irish Pubs Global Awards ceremony proposal where you can talk about the 7,000 pubs? Joelle can ask you questions for the article, and then we can include that video in the article as well. How about that?
Yeah, that'll be cool, man. That'll be cool.
Joelle, how does that
setting
sound?
us up on a blind date already?
Well, look, we need to get this going. We need to foster good relations, and I know Festy have got big plans coming. These guys, they believe. That's why I mentioned Cork City. They're going to have their own Dash ecosystem going on there already. They've got the whole community vibe. I want them to be the Dash hub of Europe, and then we can use it as a template to say, look, come here, you can do that everywhere else. So Roger Ver's got his own free society. We've got Cork City.
That's the idea, man. Like, and come here, Mark. You're more than welcome to come here anytime, man. We're only like an hour away from you, you know. Yeah.
Excellent.
That's forever in Brit miles.
Why
I
my
was saying the other day about going to Bristol, right? About how Bristol's it's so fucking far away. I can't do it.
Yeah,
it's like, no, it's 5 hours. It's not that bad. Come on, like my parents used to drive 6 hours to check the mail. I mean, come on.
Bristol
takes me 12 hours to get out of the state.
Yeah, I know, right?
It takes me 12 hours to get out of Texas.
I know, but this is the crazy thing. So just for a little backstory for the people watching. So one proposal that was funded a long time ago was Circus City, and they're based in Bristol. And that's taken place this month. Actually, I think it started now to the end of the month. And Ed, also known as Synthesist, I think that's right. Yeah, on Slack, has kindly invited me along. But I'm based in the southeast of the UK, and Bristol's way over on the west side. So I would probably get like by train coach, probably be like 4.5 hours. So I was talking to Joe about like, well, I probably have to go there for the weekend. So we have to do like forward guidance on the articles and the images and that sort of stuff. So I was thinking, well, I'm going to have to get there, probably have to stay over and that sort of stuff. And he's just like 4.5 hours to get to the other side of the country. Like, that's not really a big deal. That's like moving from one state to the other. And I was just like, well, all right, little England over here. Relax. But yeah, so hopefully I do plan to go to that. That'll be great to see. So a little backstory on Circus City. So we sponsored that to go on. It's kind of like a contemporary circus, but they're accepting Dash, and they're accepting Dash payments. They've got like some vendors in. I think they've got there's all sorts of things going on there. So I would hopefully get to do some coverage there. And also Festy, next time they get the event going, or I think they might have something coming up soon, I might jump on a plane, see those boys, see what's going on in Cork City for myself. And yeah, man. Oh, when's the Irish Pub Global Awards again?
It's on Monday.
Go to that.
It's on Monday, man.
It's on Monday. Oh, I'm cutting it a bit fine. It's in Dublin, right? Dublin, Ireland.
It is in Dublin. Well, it's on Monday and Tuesday.
Oh, that's cutting it a bit too fine, I think. The tickets are expensive as well, right? I think it's high.
I'm sure we can sort something out, Mark.
Right, I might have to think.
You wouldn't get a pub crawl for your life, huh?
Well, it could be a dangerous combination. You know, I don't drink as much. I used to be a big beer monster.
Well, you're very, very lucky that myself and Graham were flying home last night when we met, because that could have been
very messy.
That could have been dangerous, man.
I have to spend $500 just to get to Cork, so that's clearly too much.
Yeah, Monday. Yeah.
Dash
is the headline sponsor, right? Well, and we're Festy, right? So at the event, obviously Festy, you've got your logo there, but is there going to be like any Dash branding or anything like that, or is just you going to be plugging Dash? Because you're actually presenting one of the awards, right?
Yeah, we're presenting a few of the awards, if I'm not mistaken. Like the main award we'll actually be presenting, which is the best Irish pub of 2016, I think it is. The best pub of the year. Yeah, we'll be presenting that. Yeah, like as far as Dash branding goes, like we have an extremely close kind of deadline, but we're sending them tons of branding. So like Martin, our creative director, is certainly sending them some stuff. All right.
Is this like a black tie event, or can you rock up with a Dash t-shirt with a blazer on? Right? Hint, hint.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
No pressure. Otherwise, I'll come along with my blue Dash suit. I need to get like a custom suit, just like with the Dash circles everywhere. We need to make that happen.
Yes. Do you remember Conor McGregor's suit, the pinstripe suit that had like the was it like the fuck off or fuck you pinstripes? You need to get one to say Dash's digital cash on the pinstripes. And just walk in, flopping your arms around.
I need that. Yeah, I can do the whole.
Joel, I just shared the video that I was referring to your YouTube channel. So
we heard a bzz, bzz.
Excellent.
Maybe that was it.
Oh, was this in the comments or just in?
I'm finding it difficult to share it to the comments because it's telling me that.
Yeah, sorry. With links, because a lot of people put spam, so YouTube are a bit funny with sharing links in comments.
Yeah.
But I actually,
yes,
the owner.
Okay, I have the video and I will share it.
Yeah, because if we can share the link URL through the Dash Force News YouTube channel, and then it will show up. It's just other people commenting that can be a bit difficult at times.
Okay, sweet.
Well,
but
this fellow looks like awesome. He's ready for an arse whooping.
Wow, that is awesome.
Ready to give an arse whooping.
Oh, that's more like it. Did you kick him? Were you allowed to kick his face?
Afterwards, things happened.
Okay.
But he gave me his business card.
There we go. Is that what you're calling these days? Your business card. I gave him my business card.
For my medical expenses. Yeah.
Yeah. I told him that, I'm not going to pay any medical bills unless he accepts Dash. So he opened the wallet there and then.
Ha.
Excellent.
Was it one Dash per two?
Yeah. So Joel, are we going to do the after party?
I don't know. Probably can't stay for very long.
Do people in the comments want the after party?
I know August wanted to talk to us about something big. He's apparently has a meeting with Block Cypher in like 20 minutes or something.
Oh, okay. So he wants to get on the after party. Well, gents, you're more than welcome to join us. But thank you for joining us and telling us all about what you've been up to.
Soon. Specifically, see Danny soon.
Yes.
You'll probably see myself and Graham as well.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah, we want to see you guys get around everywhere. Obviously, Danny will be on TV soon. And I can't make any promises, but I'm also going to try and get Bitcart or Festi integrated into the Gap somehow, some way. The details still aren't there. I need to speak to the production team where they're going to go. But this is what the show is all about. It's not just about the advertising. It's the business element aspect from it as well. So it's not just the Dash core team. It's everything that's going on in Dash. And as these guys are the rock stars to me, because they're the ones that are actually going out and making things happen. That's why I want to get them in the show. So I'm going to try to move the earth to try and get these guys involved. So hopefully we can make that happen. And
incredible job
next week.
Thanks.
We might have something good, some more good news to tell you all. So, Joel, do you want to wrap this up, buddy?
Yes. Remember, Dash is a digital alternative to cash. Bye for now.
Right. Okay. Well, you've been watching Dash Force News. If you first time viewer, make sure you smash for Dash, subscribe, share, get the message out. And thanks for viewing. And thanks to Danny and also Darren. Darren, before we go, where can people follow you, find you?
Follow me and find me. Normally, I don't allow people to do that, but digitally, I believe
it's called stalking over here.
Okay, well, I meant in terms of Festi and Bitcart. So it's festi.ie, right?
It's festi.ie, correct. And I believe the Twitter tag is @FestiPay. And also, we have a Facebook channel set up as well.
Yeah.
Also, if you want to follow Opera Incubator, we're on Slack. And yeah, also Bitcart as well would be at Bitcart.io on Twitter too.
Yes, fantastic. Danny, I think we already covered you, right? So it's just everything's the crypto show. Is that right?
The crypto show. And then the TexasBitcoinConference.com if you want to come and check that out.
Yeah, and if you're a
Yes.
Masternode owner, Danny's going to be submitting a proposal very soon about the Bitcoin conference. So make sure you go in and vote for it. Sound good, boys?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, sure.
that was that. You're filling me with dashfidence there. That was dash-tastic.
Yes.
Okay.
Dash
Right.
leaders.
Thanks for viewing. We'll see you next week. Same Dash time, same Dash channel. Stay dashy. See you later, everyone.
Long.
Bye.